The message came at 2:17 a.m. My phone buzzed once, illuminating the dark corner of my bedroom. The blue glow carved my reflection into the window pane. Hollow-eyed, half awake, I reached for the phone, expecting one of those automated midnight bank alerts. But when I saw the sender, Dad, my breath hitched. He never texted. Dad, we're cutting all ties. Don't come around ever again. Just that. No punctuation beyond the period that felt like a blade. I read it 3 times, my pulse loud enough to drown the silence. The words didn't make sense. We're cutting all ties? Who's we? Then another message arrived, this time from my sister, Claire. Claire, don't call. It's better if you don't make things worse. By morning, confusion had curdled into panic. I must have reread Dad's text 50 times before the sun came up. I tried calling him. Straight to voicemail. Claire too. Then Mom. Nothing. It was like my whole family had vanished overnight, replaced by silence, and those 2 sentences that split my world in half. I hadn't done anything, at least not that I knew of. We'd had dinner 2 nights ago, laughing about Dad's obsession with grilling and Mom's insistence on taking family photos like we were some kind of sitcom. Claire had teased me about still being single at 32. Everything felt normal. So what the hell happened? I drove 3 hours to my hometown that afternoon, gripping the steering, like it was the only solid thing left in my life. By the time I pulled into my parents' driveway, the sky was overcast, heavy with the promise of rain. Dad's truck was there, Mom's sedan, even Claire's old Toyota. But when I rang the doorbell, the air felt wrong, thick, unwelcoming. After a long moment, the door opened. Mom stood there. Her hair was tied back, her eyes red-rimmed. She didn't smile, didn't even blink. Mom, I said, what's going on? Why did Dad send that? She cut me off with a whisper. You shouldn't have come here, Ethan. Her voice trembled, but there was something hard underneath it, like fear wrapped in anger. Shouldn't have come? What are you talking about? I've been calling all morning. What's wrong? Just go, she said, closing the door halfway. Please, before he sees you, before he sees me. Something snapped inside. I pushed the door wider, stepping in before she could stop me. The house smelled like coffee and lemon cleaner. Ordinary, familiar, but under it was something else. Tension, sour and metallic like blood and secrets. Where's Dad? Her eyes darted toward the hallway. He doesn't want to see you. Why? Because of her. Her. I blinked. Who, Claire? Before she could answer, a voice thundered from the back room. Ethan, I told you not to come here. Dad stormed into the living room, his face flushed, his jaw tight. I'd never seen him like that, not even when I wrecked his truck in high school. His eyes burned with a fury that didn't match anything I understood. Dad, what the hell is going on? He took a step forward, finger pointed like a weapon. You have the nerve to show your face here after what you did? What I did? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb, he snapped. We know about the messages. Messages? Claire appeared in the hallway. She looked pale, her hair pulled into a messy bun, arms crossed tightly. Dad, just stop. This isn't. Don't defend him. Dad roared. He knew exactly what he was doing. I turned to her. Claire, what messages? What's going on? She looked away. Claire. Her lips trembled. Dad found the texts. Between you and Mom. The world seemed to tilt. What? I laughed weakly. What texts? That's insane. But Dad was shaking, his fists clenched. You think I wouldn't recognize your number? You think I wouldn't notice the messages between you and my wife? Don't tell him. Last night was perfect. I can't stop thinking about you. You filthy. Dad, stop. Claire shouted. You don't even know if. He slammed his hand against the wall, making a picture frame rattle. I saw the photos. My knees went weak. Photos. Don't act surprised. You think she deleted everything? You think she was careful? Mom had sunk into a chair, silent, staring at her lap. The air between them pulsed with something unspeakable. I felt cold spread through me like a slow, creeping poison. You think I was having an affair with Mom? Don't you dare say her name, he growled. Dad, Jesus, that's insane. She's my mother. His face twisted, grief colliding with rage. Then how do you explain those messages? I can't, because I didn't send them. He scoffed. You expect me to believe that? Yes, I shouted. I didn't text her anything. I haven't even talked to her except about you and Claire. What are you talking about? Claire's voice was barely a whisper. Dad, I think you should tell him the rest. He glared at her, then at Mom. Tell him? You tell him. You're the one who made this mess. Mom looked up for the first time. Her lips parted, trembling. Ethan, your phone was synced to the old iPad in the study. My stomach dropped. What? The one you left here years ago. It was still connected to your number. And there were messages from your phone to mine. That's not possible. I saw them, Ethan, she whispered. I didn't know what to do. I shook my head. No, that's not. Someone must have. And then it hit me. Claire. She was the one who'd used that iPad last. I'd given it to her when I upgraded my phone. She was standing across the room now, rigid, eyes glistening. I remember the night 2 weeks ago when she'd shown up at my apartment, crying about her boyfriend, saying she needed to borrow a charger. I hadn't thought twice about leaving my phone in the kitchen when she went to get water. Oh my God, I muttered, turning to her. You did this. Her face went pale. Ethan, don't. You did this. Dad stepped between us. Enough. But I couldn't stop. The truth clawed its way out of me. You used my phone. You sent those messages to Mom to make it look like. Stop, she cried, tears spilling down. Why, Claire? Why would you do that? She was shaking, her breath ragged. Because I wanted to hurt her. The words sliced through the room like glass. Mom gasped. Dad froze. Claire covered her face. She ruined my life, Ethan. You don't know what she did. What are you talking about? I whispered. She's the reason Michael left me. Claire sobbed. She told him I was cheating. She lied. She wanted to control everything. My job, my relationship, my choices. She's been manipulating all of us for years. So yes, I use your phone. I wanted her to feel what it's like to lose everything. To be accused of something she didn't do. I stared at her numb. You framed your own mother. And me? She looked at me with wild, broken eyes. I didn't think Dad would find out. I just wanted her to panic. To know how it feels to be destroyed. Dad's voice broke. Claire, tell me that's not true. Her silence was answer enough. He stepped back like he'd been punched. Jesus Christ. Mom's face crumpled. Claire, how could you? Because you made me hate myself. Claire screamed. You made me feel like nothing I did was ever good enough. You said you wanted to protect me, but you were just controlling me. The room dissolved into shouting, sobbing, raw noise. Dad slumped against the wall, shaking his head. Mom whispered Claire's name over and over like a prayer that wouldn't save her. And I just stood there, hollow, watching the pieces of my family fall apart. It took hours to calm things down. When the storm of words and grief finally settled, Dad sat in the kitchen, silent, staring into his coffee. Mom was upstairs, locked in her room. Claire had left without another word. I sat across from him, drained. He finally spoke, voice rough. I'm sorry, son. I nodded, though I didn't know what for, his apology or the fact that he'd ever believed it. She said your messages were explicit. I didn't even question it. His hands trembled. That's on me. I get it, I said quietly. You saw what you saw, but I should have trusted you. I wanted to tell him it was okay, but the words felt fake. Because it wasn't okay. Nothing about this would ever be okay. That night, I drove back home in silence. Rain blurred the windshield, the rhythmic slap of wipers keeping me company. My phone buzzed once. A text from Claire. Claire, I'm sorry. I'll tell them everything tomorrow. I didn't mean for it to go that far. I stared at the message until the light turned green. Then another text came, this time from Mom. Mom, don't be angry with her. She's not the only one who lied. My stomach tightened. Mom, to have some of those messages weren't fake. I pulled over. The world seemed to collapse into a single, suffocating silence. My reflection stared back at me in the dark window, eyes wide, rain streaking down the glass like tears. I scrolled back through the thread, rereading the 2 sentences over and over. Not the only one who lied. Some of those messages weren't fake. My throat went dry, because now I wasn't sure what was real anymore. Had Claire only amplified something that was already there? A moment of weakness? A message I didn't remember sending? Or was Mom manipulating me, even now, twisting the knife deeper to protect herself? I thought of her face at the table. Guilt, not shock. Shame, not confusion. The phone buzzed again. Mom, we need to talk. Alone. And that's when I realized this wasn't over. It had only just begun. We need to talk. Alone. I stared at the screen until the rain swallowed my reflection. Mom's message pulsed like a wound that wouldn't close. We need to talk. Alone. My hands were trembling, but I typed back anyway. Me when? Her reply came instantly, as if she'd been waiting. Mom, now. Please. Her house was dark when I got there, except for the faint glow spilling from the kitchen window. I parked at the curb, sat for a minute, and tried to breathe. Every nerve in me screamed to turn around. But I couldn't, not after everything. When I finally stepped inside, the air felt heavy with something unspoken. She was sitting at the kitchen table, her robe tied loosely, her hair damp as if she'd been crying or pacing for hours. Thank you for coming, she whispered. I didn't sit. You said some of the messages were real. She looked down at her hands. Yes. The word hit like a punch. What does that mean, Mom? She took a shaky breath. You remember when your father was away for work last summer? My pulse quickened. Yeah. I was lonely, Ethan. Her voice cracked, and I felt something inside me freeze. Mom. She shook her head quickly. Not what you think. Not you and me. God, no. She looked up, eyes red, desperate. But those messages, some of them were real. They just weren't meant for you. I frowned. Then who? She hesitated, and for a moment I thought she wouldn't answer. Then she whispered, Michael. The room tilted. Michael. I repeated, as in Claire's Michael. She nodded. My stomach turned. You had an affair with your daughter's fiancé? Her eyes glistened with tears. It wasn't planned. He came here to pick something up one day, and we talked. He said Claire was pushing him away, that she didn't want to marry him anymore. I should have stopped it, but I didn't. I took a step back, my heart pounding so loud it drowned her words. So those messages, last night was perfect, don't tell him, those weren't between you and me. They were between me and him. I stared at her numb, and when Claire found out, she must have used your number to make it look like you were the one, Mom whispered, to destroy me. And she did. She destroyed all of us. I couldn't speak. The air felt thin, like trying to breathe underwater. Everything made sense now, and yet none of it did. Why didn't you just tell the truth? I finally asked. She laughed bitterly. Tell your father I was sleeping with my daughter's fiancé, that I betrayed both of my children? He wouldn't have believed anything else afterward. I pressed my hands against my temples. So you let him believe I was the one? Tears slid down her cheeks. I didn't know how to stop it, Ethan. Once he saw those messages, he wouldn't listen. And I thought maybe it was better if he hated you instead of hating me. Better for you, maybe I snapped. You let him think I was Jesus, Mom. Her voice broke. I was trying to protect what little was left. By destroying your son, she flinched. The silence that followed was unbearable. Only the clock ticking over the sink filled the void. Sharp, steady, merciless. Finally, she whispered, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't deserve it. She stood slowly, her face pale, exhausted. Your father's never going to look at me again. Claire will never speak to me. Maybe that's what I deserve. I watched her walk to the sink, staring out the window into the rain. Michael moved away, she said quietly. I heard he's engaged again. To someone else. A hollow laugh escaped her. So much for soulmates. I wanted to say something, anything, but every word tasted bitter. There was no fixing this. No apology could unmake the ugliness between us. When I left, dawn was breaking. The rain had stopped, but the air smelled like wet soil and endings. Dad's truck was gone from the driveway. I didn't stop to look. I just drove, letting the road swallow the distance between me and everything that used to be home. Claire called once, then again. I didn't answer. I didn't know who I was supposed to be anymore. The betrayed son, the blamed brother, or the accidental accomplice in my mother's ruin. All I knew was that the people I loved most had lied to each other, to themselves, to me. And in the end, truth didn't bring us back together. It just scattered us further apart. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. From Dad. Ethan, I don't know what to say that can fix this. Your mother told me everything. I wanted to throw her out, but after 35 years, even betrayal feels like a habit you can't break. I'm sorry I believed the worst of you. I'll live with that guilt for the rest of my life. We're selling the house. Maybe that's best. There's too much ghost in those walls. Take care of yourself, son. And if you ever forgive us, we'll be here. Dad. I folded the letter and placed it in the glove compartment next to the text that started it all. We're cutting all ties. Don't come around ever again. It felt like both the beginning and the end of something I still didn't understand. Months passed. I moved to another city, changed my number, tried to rebuild something resembling peace. But some nights I'd wake at 2:17 a.m., the exact time of that first message, and feel the phantom vibration of my phone. Once, out of curiosity or maybe weakness, I looked up Claire's social media. She posted a photo of her standing by the ocean, captioned, "Sometimes you have to burn the past to see what's left of yourself." I wanted to hate her, but all I felt was exhaustion. We were all just ruins of the same fire. The last message came 6 months later. No name attached, just a number I didn't recognize. "You were right about everything. I can't live with it anymore. Tell them I'm sorry." For a moment, I thought it was Claire. But when I called, the line was dead. I checked again. The number was Mom's. When they found her car by the bridge the next morning, they said it looked like she'd been sitting there for hours before the rain started again. There was no note, just her phone and one unsent draft message. "I never meant to hurt you. I just wanted someone to see me. It's been a year now. Dad lives alone in a small apartment outside town. Claire doesn't speak to either of us. We pretend to have moved on, but some wounds never close. They just stop bleeding in public. Sometimes when I drive at night, I still hear my father's words echoing in my head, the ones that began it all. We're cutting all ties. Don't come around ever again." Funny thing is, I think he was right. Because sometimes family isn't what saves you. It's what breaks you.